Hi, Rene Bastarache here with the American School of Hypnosis. In today's video, you're going to learn what goes into creating an effective depth test. So for those of you who are following along, go get a notepad, sit back, relax, and let's get started. This is video 3 of our 7-part hypnosis session writing program. Just as a refresher, in these videos I'm going to show you how to write each part of a 5-part hypnosis session in order to make it as effective and powerful as possible. Those of you following along are encouraged to write your own as we go each week and submit all your complete works to us for publishing on the final week. Remember, you can participate anytime between now and video 7. So just look at all the past videos that we've done from the beginning, because that's where most of the instructions are. So start with video 1 and just follow along and complete them as you go. Once all the submitted videos are collected and reviewed, we'll publish all that made the cut in a PDF manual and send everyone who participated a copy. So then you can say you're truly a published author, and you'll even have the book to prove it. So let's get started with lesson 3. What is a depth test? A depth test is the only way to determine just how relaxed your client is after you've completed your hypnosis induction. If done properly, they're very effective and actually simple to conduct. Let me tell you a few different types that you can do to give you an idea of how they should work. Now, in a nutshell, when you're doing a depth test, pretty much what you're doing is telling someone on a scale of 1 to 10, okay, 1 being wide awake, 10 being the most relaxed you can be. Right now, just give me a number that correlates to how relaxed you are. So how relaxed are you? And the subject says 7. That's not bad. 7 and up, they're deep enough to continue. 6 and below, you want to keep on with your deepeners and do some more work depending on what you need to do with them. So that's similar to this next one. Now before I get started, it's important to understand that calling it a depth test may not be the best word, as when you say test, that denotes a pass or fail. And with this test or exercise or part of the session, you really can't fail. It simply shows you how relaxed your client is and whether you should go on to do a deepener, as I mentioned earlier, or whether you should swap to maybe an analytical session because they really aren't relaxed at all. On the other hand, it'll also let you know if your client is just so very relaxed that they're already at a 10, or maybe even so relaxed. Sometimes it happens that they're so relaxed that when you ask them what number you're relaxed at, you get, they're so tired and so relaxed they can't even move their lips or function the words. So sometimes if they don't answer you, you want to check, say, are you not answering because you're so relaxed that you can't speak? Go ahead and nod your head. Something like that, just to find out whether they hear you and they're too relaxed or whether they've fallen asleep. Okay, so that's 2 different things. So it'll help you know whether you should do a deepener, whether you should swap over to an analytical session, or whether they're just really, really, really relaxed. You get to know where they are. So let's go ahead and let me do the first one with you if you like. As I'm going to actually read these to you. These are some that are already established. Go ahead and close your eyes. And now we would have already done an induction by now. That's what relaxes you. And this test will help to find out how relaxed you are. But go ahead and do it anyway so you can get a feel for it. This one's called the yardstick depth test. So I'd like you to use your imagination. Imagine a yardstick, if you would. As you know, a yardstick has numbers ranging from 1 to 36. Imagine that the number 1 represents the least relaxed that you could be, as if you were wide awake. And the number 36 represents the deepest that you could be relaxed. Now between 1 and 36, there's many numbers. One of those numbers best represents exactly how relaxed you are at this present time. I'd like you to think how relaxed you are right now and about which number best represents that relaxed feeling. In just a moment, I'll ask you to tell me which number it is that you're relaxed at. So now, remaining totally relaxed, tell me, what number are you relaxed at right now? Okay, you can open your eyes. Now that's the test. Now they might say on a scale of 1 to 36, if they say anything, let's say over 20, continue with your session. You're doing great. If they say 36, wow, you're doing a really super job. They're probably extremely non-analytical. But if they say 1, okay, maybe you want to swap over and go to an analytical session. Actually, if they say anything from 1 to 5, they're basically not ready to go along with a non-analytical session. They're just having difficulty relaxing. Now here's another one. It has a different concept. Rather than using numbers, it has to do with having them move a body part. Now let me go ahead and do it first, and I'll explain it to you after. You can close your eyes on this one and go through it again if you like. It's called the magnetic hand. I'd like you to use your imagination right now. Imagine that you could use left or right hand, whichever you prefer, has an extremely powerful magnet connected to the back of it. And I want you to imagine that I'm placing my hand about an inch above yours. And imagine that my hand also has a powerful attracting magnet on it. So as I lift my hand slowly away from yours, you can feel a very powerful magnet pulling your hand up off the chair. You can feel that magnet pulling your hand up, up, up. You can feel the lightness starting. It's starting in your fingers as they start to rise. And it moves your hand and it gets lighter and lighter, rising from the chair. Feel that magnetic pull, pulling your hand up, up, up. Feel your hand and allow it to raise up off the chair and rise higher and higher, higher in the air. Now on the count of 3, I'm going to lightly touch the back of your hand. And as soon as I do, the magnetic pull will be gone and your hand will drop back down to the chair very heavily. And as it does, you'll drop into a very deep state, even twice as deep as you are right now. 1, 2, and 3 as I touch your hand. And you can allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into relaxation. Now you see what happened here as they have their hand on the chair as they're sitting on the chair, and I put my hand above it. As I'm rising my hand, you're going to be going like this. Now if you do that to yourself or do it to somebody else, you're going to feel the heat coming from your palm as it touches the top of their hand, which kind of, with their eyes closed, you're more sensitive, and it's going to kind of feel like a magnetic pull. And as you're pulling it up, you're going to see them start to raise their hand up higher too. It's kind of neat to see. But of course they have their eyes closed and they may not realize that their hand actually left the chair. That's why I tell them when I touch your hand's going to drop to the chair. So when you go 1, 2, 3 and you touch it, the hand's going to drop the chair to the chair and they're going to feel it hit the chair and they're going to go twice as deep because that's what you told them to do. So it's kind of like almost like a shock, similar to an instant induction because they didn't realize it was in the air. So give that one a shot. It's a lot of fun. Now, you're going to have to use your own judgment on these. There's no right or wrong, and there's no specific number where it's enough or not. So you'll eventually get to understand or get a feel for using your own judgment to see if they're relaxed enough to simply do a deepener and continue with the rest of the session, or if they're not relaxed at all and you want to swap over into an analytical session. So why are these depth tests important? Even though the lighter levels of hypnosis are sufficient for most purposes, there's times you're going to have to take your client deeper for the more advanced sessions, such as normally you have them in the alpha brainwave state, which is good for, like I said, a majority of things, but you may have to take them to theta, which is similar to the daydream level, where you're kind of daydreaming and you kind of hear and you don't hear, or the level where you normally would fall asleep. That's where theta is. And that's great for dealing with traumatic events, such as PTSD, for working with painless childbirth, or even to cause hallucinations. Or you might even want to take them deeper into the delta brainwave state. Now, delta is what we call the dreamless state. Theta is your dream state, and you go to the end of the theta state into delta. It's a deep, kind of like dead weight, dreamless state. And that's where you take them for accelerated healing. In fact, the body heals a minimum of about 3 times faster in delta. That's where you take them for deep or profound anesthesia. That's where you could take them to lower their blood pressure or their heart rate. And it's even used to release HGH, which is human growth hormone, which deals with wrinkles, sagging skin, and muscle tone. If you want to learn more about these levels, about hypnosis and how it works, just click on the link right there above my head, and you'll go to our hypnosis certification course. Now it's time for me to make my own depth test. Now, I actually went ahead and made one just before this video, because this one takes a little bit more time to plan out than rather just making it up right on the spot in front of you like I did with the induction last week. So here's the one I came up with. Go ahead and close your eyes. Tell me what you think afterwards in the comments below. Here we go. I want you to imagine a big clock on the wall. It's simply a black and white clock with very large numbers on it. Now, the clock only has the numbers 1 to 5 on it, with big spaces in between. Imagine that in a few moments the needle of the clock will stop to move from 1 to 5. And as it does, you can think about how relaxed you are at that moment. And as the needle begins to move, it'll eventually stop at the number that best represents how relaxed you are at that time. So let's go ahead and begin. Think about how relaxed you are right now. And imagine that needle moving from 1 to 5. Now it will eventually stop at the number that best represents how relaxed you are right now. So imagine the needle moving from one number to another, and then it stops. Tell me, which number did it stop at? Great, you can open your eyes. And of course what they're going to do is they're going to tell you the number. Now if they don't tell you the number, let them know. You can go ahead and tell me that number out loud. People can speak in hypnosis. They could even open their eyes in hypnosis and talk to you, and it's not taking them out or putting them in, okay? They're going to stay in the same relaxed state. And you just tell them close your eyes, or if you had them open their eyes, and it would continue with the session. So that's all there is to it. So now it's time for you to create one. What I'd like you to do is think about what it is you want to do. If you made an induction last video and you want to keep the same theme, you can go along like that. You might want to do something with a depth from 1 to 10 or even more. You can go like the yardstick one went up to 36. Something where you're moving your hand or your fingers or your arm. So be creative and see what you can come up with. Once you're done, try it with someone, but before you do, be sure to do your induction that you did in the last video first. So have someone sit down and just go ahead and read your induction to them. Have them close their eyes, take the 3 deep breaths, read your induction to them, and then do the depth test that you just did and see how they did, see how relaxed they are. Now, once you've done that, let me know in the comments below how your volunteer did. Everyone would be interested in knowing. Well, that's it for this lesson. We really want to make this manual as much of a success as possible, so please share this video with as many other hypnosis practitioners or people who are interested, enthusiasts in hypnosis as you can, so we can all benefit and share this with as many as possible. So thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in video 4 to work on hypnosis deepeners. See you then.